Welcome to Hamilton College. Our program will begin shortly, and many guests still need to take their seats. Please move to the center of your row and take your seat so that the ushers can identify all available seats. Please also take this opportunity to silence your mobile devices. In the event of an emergency, please move quickly and safely to the nearest emergency exit. There are multiple exits surrounding today's event, including 10 exit doors to the audience's left, 6 exit doors to the audience's right, 8 exit doors behind the stage facing the audience, and 6 exit doors at the main entrance. Should you need EMS assistance, please find the nearest usher. Thank you. Welcome to Hamilton College. Our program will begin shortly, and many guests still need to take their seats. Please move to the center of your row and take your seat so that the ushers can identify all available seats. Please also take this opportunity to silence your mobile devices. In the event of an emergency, please move quickly and safely to the nearest emergency exit. There are multiple exits surrounding today's event, including 10 exit doors to the audience's left, 6 exit doors to the audience's right, 8 exit doors behind the stage facing the audience, and 6 exit doors at the main entrance. Should you need EMS assistance, please find the nearest usher. Thank you.
This assembly will come to order. If you are able, please remain standing while I read our land acknowledgement. With humility and pride, Hamilton College acknowledges its campus sits on the ancestral homelands of the Oneida Indian Nation. The Oneida, or Onyodogaka in their indigenous language, means people of the standing stone. Emerging in 1793 from a vision by Reverend Samuel Kirkland and Oneida Chief Shenandoah, both now interred side by side in our campus, to establish a place where American Indians and settler youth could receive a quality education, Hamilton College's very foundation was built upon indigenous reciprocity and inclusivity. We recognize our past failures to implement this vision. Through sharing our community and educational resources, we are committed to building a sustainable partnership with the Oneida Indian Nation and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We embrace that our past and our future are forever tied to the Oneida people. I think you can sit down now. It is now my honor to introduce Stephen Tepper, the 21st president of Hamilton College.
Good morning, class of 2026. Woo! Just thankful it didn't rain today. I want to extend a big welcome to all of our family, friends, members of the extended Hamilton community who are joining us from around the world. I want to begin today with a gift. Gratitude. So it turns out that if you practice gratitude, you get a bunch of short-term boosts in positive chemicals like serotonin and dopamine, but you also get long-term benefits of increased hope and optimism, empathy, lower stress, lower anxiety, increased well-being, and life satisfaction. So I just want to make sure that all of our graduates today are at their very maximum dopamine levels. So I want all of our families and friends who are with us today to support our graduates to stand if you're able. Okay, graduates, with all that you can muster, please show your gratitude to these people who have supported you through all of these years of study. Please be seated. Okay, that was pretty loud, but now I'm going to ask our faculty and staff who have supported and mentored our students on this journey to please stand. Woo! And I want to call out for special recognition the 10 distinguished members of the Hamilton faculty who are retiring this year. So this morning I'm going to call out their names and ask them to stand, and then ask you to join me in expressing our appreciation for their combined 300 years of service to Hamilton College. Mark Bailey, Errol Balkin, Sally Cockburn, Ella Gant, Patty Cloyt, Cheryl Morgan, Quincy Newell, Anno Orlemans, Margie Thixton, Bruce Walczyk. Families, you see how much our graduates love their faculty, as we all do. Many employees of the college have worked long and hard on the arrangements for today's ceremony and this weekend, so I'd like to thank the offices of the deans and president, audiovisual services, college events, communications, advancement, marketing, LITs, facilities management, campus safety, the registrar's office. Thank you all for all that you've done for us. Okay, I have a final assignment for our students. Think about one word right now. It could be an adjective, a feeling, a hope, a memory, and something that defines how you're feeling in this moment. And on the count of 3, we're going to shout it out. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow. I heard hopeful, proud, optimistic, confident, cross-faded, hungover, beautiful. All of those words were an answer to this moment. But today I want to talk not about answers, but about questions. So let me start with the question, what does it mean to know thyself? One of your classmates, Leo Gerst, sent me a note a few weeks ago, and I'm paraphrasing Leo. He said when he arrived as a freshman thinking he would graduate with a clear answer, but 4 years later, many things he felt seem uncertain. The world turned out to be wholly and utterly false. His interests have changed, his priorities have shifted, and he finds this process, in his words, incredibly liberating. So Leo asked the question, to what extent is it truly possible to know thyself? So Leo, by asking that question openly and honestly, you are already practicing an extremely powerful form of self-knowledge that is deep and that is enduring. Now, the question that I asked when I graduated from college was similar, but rather than how will I know myself, I asked, how will I be known by others? And you know how Netflix has the 3 adjectives that describe every film in its catalog? So you have Stranger Things, that's nostalgic and suspenseful and chilling, and Emily in Paris is romantic and slick and whimsical. Stepper, or Tepper, cerebral, warm, energetic, or maybe in the words of one recent Clinton 8th grader who described me to her father after I gave a speech at her school's career day, she said, in 2 words, not 3, and I quote, "He was not awful." It's a low bar. How will I be known? How will you be known? So several years after graduating, I came across a quote from Maya Angelou that offered this insight. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you. That became my North Star, and it turns out, for me, I learned that asking good questions has been one thing that gets me a little bit closer to that star. So what does it mean to ask a good question? So there are 2 kinds of questioners, and you know this because you've been in class for 16 years or so. So the first kind of questioner asks a question to sound really smart. It's kind of a performance. Here I am, look at me, look how much I know, look how sophisticated I am. That kind of question closes down a conversation rather than opens one up. It tends to make your fellow classmates feel smaller. Then there's the second kind of person who asks what I call the generous question that makes everyone else in the room feel smarter. The question that opens people up, that generates more questions. Hamilton graduates are the second kind of questioner. Now, children are natural and generous questioners. My daughter Sally at 4 asked me this extremely important question. She said, "Daddy, who is the boss in the house between you and Mommy?" So I said, well, naturally, I'm the boss. I said, your mother makes all the decisions, but I'm in charge of the TV remote. And she looked at me skeptical. Then there's the question that I read every morning on my refrigerator magnet. It's a Dalmatian dog that's looking up, ears back, with the words, "Are you the person your dog thinks you are?" So staying on that theme of pets, here's a profound question that your classmate Natalie Yarnell asked me. What distinguishes a cat person from a dog person? So I've been thinking about that for the last week. So cat people are basically okay being ignored and left alone, and dog people need constant positive affirmation. And so for better or for worse, I am a dog person. So just like practicing gratitude, there are real benefits to asking questions. Researchers at Harvard spent years studying thousands of real conversations, and what they found was simple and extraordinary. People who ask more questions, including follow-up questions, are significantly better liked by the people they talk with. The researchers called their paper, "It Doesn't Hurt to Ask," and it turns out it doesn't. It actually helps all of your relationships. It helps your career. It helps the people around you feel seen and valued. A few weeks ago, I sent a note to a few dozen of you, and I asked, what questions are you leaving Hamilton with? Within minutes, Ian McGiffin replied, and his question was, will Southampton be promoted from Championship to Premier League? Ian, I'm optimistic. Then the questions deepened. Jared Maidman asked, how will the fabric and identity of Hamilton College change over the next 4 years? Well, so by then, we will have added 3 more framed photographs to the one that just went up last week in the pub that read, National Hockey Champions 2026. We'll add 27, 28, 29. Rob, good luck. Related to the theme of uncertainty, Jack Kircher asked, how can we create and manage change? And Prim Udamphin provides an answer to Jack through her lens as a chemistry major. She said, can experimental thinking, the trial and error approach, help us optimize our lives at every stage? One of your classmates asked, why are people so afraid of uncertainty? And as you consider these questions, think about your Hamilton education and how it's prepared you to navigate that uncertainty, to think in all directions, to work with all types of people, to imagine pathways that others might not see. Maybe the answer to Jack's question about managing change lies in the question that Quentin Messer asked. Is the curriculum of life open? So building from Quentin's question, let me ask all of you, what would it look like if you approached life as you have approached the open curriculum here at Hamilton? Others are leaving Hamilton deeply interested and concerned about what it means to be part of a community. Raul Muhammad Ahmed asked, what happens to largely tolerant people that causes something as unnatural as spewing hatred for political gain to become normal to them? And Daniel Rodriguez asked, why is it that, though we only have each other in the great expanse of this whole universe, he says, UFOs aside, we so often insist on being divided from each other? And Daphne Serrato brings that question home to us and says, what would it take for Hamilton to ensure unity between different groups on our campus? Community also came up for Peter Hinkle, who wondered what factors enable the formation of a strong community. And June Reese, his question suggests the answer lies in how we talk about support. Is it better to support the greatest number of people or to provide more support to those who most need it? Kate Connolly has spent the last 4 years studying what makes great communities and what helps them hold together, and she simply asks, what do we owe? What do we owe to our community? And maybe the answer lies in kindness, which was Julia Afsar Kashmiri's question. How do I find such kind people? How did I find such kind people here? How can I do it again? And how do I be a kind person back? On a personal note, Vincent Manny wonders which memories will he revisit time and again? He asks, will it be the little interactions, the movie nights, the Grode walks, the rounds of Mario Kart races? Start telling your story to each other now as you're saying goodbye, so that the memories that are most important to you stay fresh, stay bright, stay alive. Know thyself. You came here to find the answer to that question, but perhaps you're leaving discovering something much more meaningful and much more profound, that the questions are really what matter. So go ask a question that will change everything. There are so many people in this room that love you. I'm at the front of that line. I love you, graduates. We will miss you. Go forth. Congratulations. I'm pleased now to introduce the co-vice chair of the Board of Trustees, Robert Delaney, class of 1979.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my great pleasure to welcome our esteemed faculty, honored guests, families, and friends. And most especially, we warmly welcome and congratulate today's graduates. As you transition today from students to alumni, we celebrate not only what you have achieved, but what lies ahead. Your accomplishments these past 4 years fill us with enormous pride. During your time here, you have developed and refined skills that will serve you throughout your lives while building a strong foundation for lifelong learning. As you step into this next chapter, carry with you the values you have strengthened here, especially a deep respect for one another. The world needs your energy, your creativity, and your courage, and we are confident you will make a positive impact wherever life leads you. You have shared your talents, energy, and generosity in ways that have made Hamilton a stronger and better community. Your friends, teachers, mentors, and coaches will deeply miss your presence on campus, but we know that you will carry the spirit of Hamilton with you wherever you go. As you leave College Hill, you will join a remarkable community of alumni who will provide friendship and support as you stay connected to the college and to one another, because each of you is and always will be a valued member of the Hamilton family. No matter how far from Clinton life takes you, Hamilton will always be a part of you. Congratulations, class of 2026. We are proud of all you have accomplished, and we look forward with great excitement to see what you will do next. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Provost and Dean of the Faculty, Ngoni Monemo.
Good morning. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. To answer one of those questions, I don't believe it ended well for Southampton. But congratulations to all the Hull City supporters out there. On behalf of the faculty, a distinguished group of over 200 teacher scholars who have prepared our students for this special moment, I welcome everybody to this wonderful occasion, especially the graduates seated in front of me. My faculty colleagues and I take enormous pride in your achievements and contributions during the past 4 years. This may not be top of your minds at this moment, but we share a temporal bond. Fall of 2022 was also my first semester on College Hill. So I guess I'm a senior of sorts. However, unlike you, my arrival was not heralded by hordes of clamoring peers eager to welcome you to this place. I'm choosing not to be bitter about that. I've been thinking about my first remarks to you all. I was perhaps more nervous than you would be submitting your first assignments. On that August afternoon in Welland Hall, I quoted from Frantz Fanon, sharing his insight that, out of relative obscurity, each generation must discover its mission fulfill it, or betray it. Heavy words shared at the start of your journeys here. Reflecting on how your ideas, passions, interests, understandings, and indeed questions have enriched our classrooms, laboratories, studios, and performance spaces, it's clear that you embraced Fanon's call, pushing this campus to be a better version of itself. Now go out and enrich the communities where you have chosen to do your life's work. You are well prepared to lead the lives for which we have prepared you, lives of meaning, purpose, and active citizenship. I want to join President Tepper and Mr. Delaney in acknowledging all those who have played a part in the accomplishments of our graduates, including parents, extended families, siblings, grandparents, friends, neighbors, and all those who have contributed to our students' journey to this day. Let's have another round of applause for our family and friends. I now ask the James Soper Merrill Prize recipient, John Reese, to join me on stage. The James Soper Merrill Prize, established in memory of James Soper Merrill by his cousin, James P. Soper, class of 1911, is awarded at commencement to that member of the graduating class who, in character and influence, has best typified the highest ideals of the college. Selected by the faculty, the recipient is presented with a gold watch. John is a sociology major with a philosophy minor. He is from Brooklyn, New York. He is, according to Kabul Mansour, director of the Days Masola Center, a rare combination of intellectual rigor, ethical leadership, and community impact. His academic work, she says, reflects both depth and initiative. He conducted ethnographic research in New York City subways, an independent field study across Vietnam, and a senior thesis exploring refugee communities in Utica. All demonstrate curiosity, independence, and meticulous scholarship. John was either a semifinalist or finalist for a Truman Fellowship, a Fulbright Grant, a Watson Fellowship, and a Bristol Fellowship. His senior thesis work was supported by a grant from the Dubourg Travel Fund. These honors, Dr. Mansour points out, reflect both his intellectual ability and the national recognition of his leadership, initiative, and character. John's contributions to campus life include service as a lead fellow at the Days Masola Center, interim president of the Asian Student Union, DEI representative for the men's varsity soccer team, and docent for the Welland Museum. Marjorie Hurley, John's supervisor at the Welland, says he is an exceptional docent who invites our visitors to go on the same journey of curiosity as he does, learning about art without worrying about having the right answer or the right background. Emily Gerard, Marjorie's colleague at the Welland, called John a natural leader with a passion for helping underserved communities and someone who is able to engage with everyone he meets with no judgment and an open smile. John moves through the world without fanfare, said Todd Franklin, the Eugene M. Tobin Distinguished Professor of Philosophy and Africana Studies. And his most consequential contributions are rarely the ones that earn public notice. In the classroom, he is free-spirited in the best sense, genuinely curious, methodologically adventurous, and drawn to questions that resist easy resolution. As a sociology concentrator, rigorous social analysis comes naturally to him, but what sets John apart is his refusal to stay within disciplinary boundaries. He reaches across fields, synthesizes across traditions, and in doing so has distinguished himself as an intellectual heir to a long line of social conscious figures who look to the world as it is and take it upon themselves to help build the world as it ought to be. Although he is uncompromising in his commitment To the equal worth and dignity of every person, Professor Franklin continued, John is first and foremost a listener. He listens to ideas with rigor and open-mindedness. He listens to people with patience, empathy, and genuine care. He is, in the best sense, both a builder and a guardian of community. John Reese has not merely typified the ideals of the Soper Merrill Prize, Professor Franklin concluded, he has lived them quietly, consistently, in ways large and small, public and private, across every dimension of his time here. Please join me in congratulating the 2026 recipient of the James Soper Merrill Prize, John Reese.
Thank you, Dean Monemo, for your introduction. When I first arrived on campus, I didn't bring much. I had a good amount of clothes, some instant ramen, and absolutely nothing on my walls. I have the current residents of my suite to thank for having a more updated sense of interior design, but at the very least, I had the common sense to do some shopping for school supplies. I went to the campus bookstore and realized I didn't have any pens or pencils. Being a nervous freshman, I went in and essentially blacked out and left with a box of 500 pens. Being my parents' son, I had to go back and make sure I had in fact found the best deal. As my first year went on, I was intentionally careless with these pens, as I thought there was no way I was going to use them all. If I couldn't find the pen I was using earlier, I wouldn't bother to look for it and go grab another. I would lend pens to classmates and not bother to collect them. Hank, I'm still waiting on that pen. These pens moved with me from Glenview for my first year, to co-op my sophomore year, and eventually to Saunders my junior year. My junior fall, I started to realize that I was running low on pens. And imagine how stupid I felt being so loose with them the past couple years. I began to conserve the pens, using them sparingly. Buying pens before the end of college was certainly not an option, and so quickly, my value of the pens had changed. At the beginning of my senior year, I began to unpack the boxes I left in storage during my time spent abroad. In every single box, I found these pens. Suddenly, I felt as though I would certainly have enough to make it through the end of the year, but I had learned my lesson. Each pen was vital. So at this point, you're likely thinking this guy is weirdly obsessed with pens. Pen guy over here, who decided that he should speak? These pens were how I experienced the individual days of the past 4 years here at Hamilton College. My first year, it felt like I had all the time in the world. I couldn't wait for the next day to come when times were good and when they were less so. Come my junior fall, I began to feel like graduation was knocking at my door. I couldn't believe where the time had gone. Then this past year began, and I realized I had more time than I thought. But rather than intentionally losing track of the days and the pens, I began to hold onto them tight before letting each one go for the next. Then the other day, I reached into the box and pulled out the last pen, which I have here now. So over the course of these 4 years, what did I learn? What changed so that I began to savor each and every day? And of course, it was the very first thing I was ever told on campus: be here now. Be here now is the mantra of every student's introduction to Hamilton. We are asked for 1 week to forego society and step into the wilderness. And being from Brooklyn, that was not a familiar nor an exciting idea. But I was lucky. I was able to be here now, and I was fortunate to meet my best friend. But just like comfort on these orientation trips, being present, both physically and mentally, is a privilege. So to be explicit, I want to take an extra moment to celebrate students of color, low-income students, queer students, and those who moved to Clinton, New York, and did everything they could to be here now. I want to take another moment for anyone who has family who couldn't make it here today because of ICE, genocide, or the Trump administration's policy. Those of us who are doing our best to be here now. And finally, for all of us whose parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents made sacrifices so that we could be here now. And I want to take a quick second to thank the people who allowed me to be here now. Dr. Kabul E. Mansour, the DMC, its fellows and organizations. Without all of you, I certainly would not be here now. Marjorie Hurley, Emily Gerard, and everyone at the Wellen Museum, the sociology and philosophy departments, Travis Hill, Lisa Grimes, the members of Millbank 36, and most importantly, my parents and my brother. Thank you all. And so here it is, the last pen from my box. It represents 4 years of academic work, the most incredible communities, and trying to know myself. Much like me today, it is 1 out of 500. And this has become a special pen. It certainly has gotten more airtime than any other writing utensil I've ever seen, unless Anna decides to talk about a highlighter for 6 minutes. But this pen marks not only the last day of my 4 years at Hamilton College, but also all the pens and memories I've lost along the way. But I'm going to throw this pen into the crowd right now. And I'm trusting that if I do, the Hamilton College class of 2026 will hold on to it tight, remember today, and strive each day to be here now.
Thank you, John. We turn now to the top awards for academic achievement. The awards of salutatorian and valedictorian are made to the students with the second and first highest grade point average, respectively. I ask the class of 2026 salutatorian, Mina Stevens, to stand. Mina, an art major from Rochester, New York, began her studies at Hamilton as a January student. Assistant Professor of Digital Arts, Anna Huff, says Mina is a student who leads others, participates fully in campus life, and consistently pushes herself and others to engage in critical problem solving, merging experimental practice and disciplinary practice with creative expression. She consistently drove class discussions with intelligent, pointed questions about the readings and highlighted complex phrases and ideas to move the conversations forward. Most seniors in the course looked to her to lead discussions, and she always set the bar for what was possible in the work. Professor of Art Ella Gant says, Mina exemplifies the aspirational ideals of a Hamilton scholar. She has a sophisticated mind and creative spirit, razor-sharp observational abilities, a quick-minded sense of humor, and a command of communication forms that ranges from traditional written word through 21st century evolving digital inventions. As we have done our best to prepare her for life of meaning, she has given meaning to our lives. Let's congratulate Mina Stevens. Please be seated. The class of 2026 valedictorian is Julia Asfar Kashmiri. Please stand. Julia is an interdisciplinary studies major from Queensbury, New York. She completed a senior fellowship, which freed her from traditional coursework and allowed her to devote her entire senior year to her project. She worked closely with her advisor, visiting assistant professor of psychology, Abigail Myers, to study a protein that moves mitochondria around in cells during development. Mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside our cells that turn the food you eat and the air you breathe into the energy your body needs to survive. During her senior fellowship year, Julia amassed a network of scientists that included professors in Hamilton's neuroscience, chemistry, and biology departments, researchers at the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, a team at the University of Florida, and a group of Hamilton computer science seniors to further unravel the mysteries of brain development and neurodegenerative diseases. Associate Professor Sarah Rosenstein said Julia's work was on par with that of a third-year graduate student. Julia is the best student I've had in 32 years of teaching, Professor Rosenstein said. She has the whole package: the academic ability, intellectual curiosity, communication and teaching skills, the passion for lifelong learning, and her infectious enthusiasm for everything. She is the epitome of a self-directed learner. Professor Myers said she could always count on Julia to produce high-quality research. She approached her work with great care and attention to detail, meticulously analyzing her data and thoughtfully comparing her findings to existing literature to ensure accuracy and rigor in her research. Let's congratulate the valedictorian for the class of 26, Julia. Please be seated.
This year's class speaker was nominated by her peers and selected by a committee of faculty members and her classmates. Anna Knapp is a government major, environmental studies minor from South Plainfield, New Jersey. I know Anna well from her role as student government president. I met with Anna on a bi-weekly basis, and she demonstrated incredible capacity to think through complexity, to understand all sides. Our interactions were collaborative, productive. I trusted her judgment on just about everything. I respected her opinion. She once told me that her goal as student government president and in life is to have a commitment to listening to others, uplifting everyone's voices, and creating a hopeful and positive environment for all community members to thrive. And just one other note, Anna Knapp got to introduce President Barack Obama on this stage, and Anna did that with no notes, and I'm standing backstage with the president, who looks and says, "Oh my God, she is impressive." Please join me in welcoming class speaker Anna Knapp.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that introduction, President Tepper. So good morning, faculty and staff, families and friends, and most importantly, the class of 2026. So when I was busy procrastinating on my thesis, classic, I came across a quote that said, "I haven't felt like myself lately. I must be growing." At first, I laughed. It just sounded like a very polite way of describing an identity crisis. After all, when we first arrived at Hamilton, we were presented with the motto of "Know Thyself." And my parents loved this. To them, it guaranteed that by senior year, I would have my life and myself all figured out. We often think if we study hard enough, join enough clubs, and do all the right things, whatever that means, Everything will finally click into place one day. We treat knowing ourselves like a finish line, an endpoint we strive to reach. And Hamilton students don't exactly sit still for very long. We sprint from clubs to practice to late-night meetings in Sadov. We stack commitments like it's a competitive sport. And somewhere in all of that, our identities can start to blur. Almost like the busier we are, the more we must be becoming ourselves. And to be clear, that energy is incredible. It's what makes this place and these people here so special. But it can also make it easy to confuse being full with being defined. When I first came to Hamilton, I thought I knew who I was and what I wanted. Basketball was something that had defined me for the longest part of my life. So when I made the team, I thought I had found exactly who I was supposed to be here. But then, senior year, I made the decision to close that chapter. At first, it felt like a loss, like I was letting go of something that had been a big part of me. But what I found on the other side surprised me. Without basketball, I had room. Room to connect with people I never would have met, to try things I never would have tried, and to discover sides of myself that I had never seen before. Letting go of that identity didn't shrink me, it made space for a fuller version of myself. And that's when I started to think of growth a little bit differently. Instead of outgrowing, I like to think of it as overflowing. Overflowing means you've become too big for the container you used to fit into. It means your life is so full of new experiences, new perspectives, new versions of yourself, that the old shape just couldn't hold anymore. Somewhere between our orientation trips, declaring majors, having a few too many drinks at pub, oops, and writing theses, we outgrew old hobbies, old habits, and even old versions of ourselves. And that can feel scary. It can feel a lot like losing something. But being here on the Hill has taught me that belonging does not mean staying the same. It doesn't mean forcing yourself to fit into a space that was designed for a past version of you. But rather, real belonging means recognizing when you have changed and having the courage to change with it. So if you don't feel like the person you were when you arrived here 4 years ago, that's exactly the point. Because growing doesn't always feel like growth. Sometimes it feels like making it to 4 p.m. art yoga on a Friday, or the relief of a stack of diner pancakes after a Saturday pub night with your friends, or getting that email that classes are canceled for a snow day, or 2 if you're lucky. That's the strange thing about identity. Know thyself, we say, like it's some fixed point, something we are supposed to find and hold on to. But what I've learned is that we did not come to Hamilton to find out who we are. We came here to learn how to evolve. So, class of 2026, as we leave the Hill, don't look for a life where you fit perfectly exactly as you are now. Look for a life that gives you the room to keep growing, the room to keep overflowing. Embrace the fact that you don't feel like your old self. It means you are making space for the person you are becoming. Hamilton taught us to know ourselves, and we have. But knowing yourself was never meant to be the finish line. It was always just the beginning. There is still so much overflowing to do, new containers to outgrow, and new doors to walk through. And I can confidently say that these past 4 years at Hamilton have taught me that the person you are becoming is someone you will want to know. So congratulations, class of 2026. I feel incredibly lucky and honored to have grown alongside you.
Anna, you escaped before I could give you a hug. So, in the tent. We are honored today by the presence of 2 individuals with amazing careers built on creativity, originality, the ability to recognize opportunity. And we wish to recognize them with the conferral of honorary degrees. The first is a civic innovator, and the second is a culinary innovator. I now call upon Edwige Jean-Francois, alumni trustee, to present our first candidate for an honorary degree.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present Mariam Banakaram for a Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Your career, you once said, hasn't been a straight line. It's been full of pivots, detours, and messy moments. One of your life's first major adjustments came as a child when your family fled the Iranian Revolution in 1979. You eventually settled in the United States, received degrees from Barnard College and Columbia University, and began a professional career that included senior-level positions with Fortune, Nextdoor, Hyatt, Gannett, NBC Universal, and Univision. You subsequently shifted from being a highly successful C-suite executive known for driving growth and transformation of iconic brands. And now, to a community builder focused on driving civic participation and engagement. Just since 2020, you have co-founded NYC Next to produce performing art pop-up events throughout New York to help the city recover from the pandemic, created an award-winning We Love NYC campaign to mobilize civic action and community engagement, launched The Longest Table, a free-to-all potluck to connect neighbors, build community, and spread joy, and began hosting the Messy Parts podcast, a space for honest conversation about the struggles, the pivots, and the hard-won victories that shape extraordinary careers. Your achievements have earned you recognition as one of Fast Company's top 10 disruptors, the New York Post 50 Most Powerful Women in NYC, and Advertising Age's Women to Watch. In 2018, you received a Medal of Honor from the Ellis Island Honors Society, which recognizes inspiring Americans whose, quote, selfless contributions strengthen our country and its people. People have called you a force of nature, a font of positivity and leadership, a New York legend, and a purpose-driven change agent. You see yourself as being a relentlessly curious person who lives by the motto, you only live once, so run at it hard and make a difference. Instead of seeing life's challenges as obstacles, you once said, I see them as an obstacle course, a fascinating array of tests that I'm curious to see if I can pass. Your presence here today is evidence that you have passed those tests, and we are delighted to present you with a Hamilton degree to mark your success. Mariam Banakaram.
That's me. Mariam Banakaram. Acting on authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters of Hamilton College, admitting you to all of its rights and privileges, in token whereof we present you this diploma and invest you with this hood. Call upon Liz Fox-Keogh, alumni trustee, and some of you know her as Bridget's mom, to present our second candidate for an honorary degree.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the honor to present Stephen L. Durfee for a Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Creativity takes many forms, among them painting, literature, dance, music, and perhaps most relevant to our everyday lives, food. Throughout your career as a pastry chef extraordinaire, you've often used chocolate to represent your own artistic expression. Where Rembrandt, Picasso, and so many others used paint to create their masterpieces, You use cocoa beans and sugar to craft culinary experiences that have made you famous the world over. In her poem Chocolate, former U.S. Poet Laureate Rita Dove described the decadent dessert as a velvet fruit that could make one crumble to ruin. Another poet described how these velvet whispers melt on the tongue, where every flavor feels like a song sung. And so we acknowledge the many songs you have sung through your masterful work with this timeless ingredient. Both of your parents were teachers, and you spent 3 years in a classroom after leaving College Hill in 1985. But it wasn't the right career for you, at least not at that moment. Your first food-related job was as a dishwasher, but then you remember being thrilled by the restaurant's energy, the controlled chaos, and the artistry. Eventually, you settled in the Napa Valley at the French Laundry, which the New York Times food critic at the time called the most exciting place to eat in America. There at French Laundry, as executive pastry chef, you were named one of the 10 best pastry chefs in America and won the 1998 James Beard Foundation's Award for Pastry Chef of the Year. You subsequently returned to teaching, this time as a professor of baking and pastry arts at the Culinary Institute of America, teaching courses in chocolate, confectionery, cakes, and plated desserts. Today, you are the director of curriculum at Dandelion Chocolate in San Francisco, a bean-to-bar chocolate factory where you lead tastings, tours, classes, and, along with the education team, craft exquisite chocolate experiences. You once said the most rewarding part of teaching is when a former student becomes successful. We here at Hamilton feel the same way about you. This morning, to demonstrate our pride in your accomplishments, we present you with this honorary degree.
Stephen Durfee, acting on the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters of Hamilton College, admitting you to all of its rights and privileges, in token whereof we present you with this diploma and invest you with this hood. I'm suddenly extremely hungry. All of us have had the experience of coming together to share a meal, whether with family or friends, a fancy restaurant, around a dining room table. We mark celebrations and milestones and important occasions with special meals. Stephen Durfee has long recognized how food can bring people together and create powerful memories of places, of moments, significant events, and he does this by elevating food to extraordinary levels. As you just heard, Stephen is internationally celebrated as a chef, educated, and artist who has raised our understanding, appreciation, expectation of enchanting confections, especially chocolate, or what ancient civilizations referred to as the food of the gods. So please join me in welcoming Hamilton's 2026 Commencement Day speaker, Stephen Durfee.
Good morning, friends. Thank you. You've heard this already. President Tepper, members of the Board of Trustees, esteemed faculty, honored guests, friends and family, and most of all, graduating class of 2026, thank you so much for having me here today. It is such a tremendous honor to stand here before you today. I'm so grateful for the invitation and the opportunity to share in this really special day. And I get why you invited me, the chocolate guy, to be your guest speaker this morning, because graduation is, after all, such a bittersweet moment. Your college graduation is a lot. It's a big deal, a real threshold moment. It's liberating for everyone, exhilarating for many, and anxiety-producing for others. Ready or not, here you come. And many of you may feel ready, and others may not. That's not a new phenomenon, by the way, not something that's unique to your generation. The good news, the thing worth knowing, is that you are far more ready than you might feel right now. There's a phrase that we use in the professional kitchen, mise en place. Mise en place describes the French culinary discipline of having everything in its place, measured before the work begins. Your ingredients are chopped, the tools are ready, your station is clean, and it's not just a kitchen concept, it's a whole philosophy of intentional preparation, even if you're not exactly sure which dish you're about to pick up, what the guest is going to order. Your station is set. You prepped. Your knife is sharp, and you know the recipe, so bring it. I had the opportunity to speak with a few of you just a couple of weeks ago. We met over Zoom, and it was really lovely. Some representatives of the senior class, and we chatted about all kinds of things. But what stuck with me most was how much you talked about the joy that you found in sitting down for meals with your friends, the importance of sharing time together, like you'd already thought it through, like you'd already figured out what actually matters most in this world. In the kitchen, we would say, your mise en place is tight. Graduation day at Hamilton, 1985, sitting right where you're sitting, I felt like I was the exact opposite of mise en place. My station was not set. I didn't even know what was on the menu. My parents were both school teachers, and so I had grown up with the idea that I might also be a teacher. I was an American Studies major, so maybe English, maybe history. And sure enough, a few months after graduation, there I was, standing in front of a classroom at a boarding school, explaining concepts in geography to a group of high school freshmen. And so you might be wondering, how did I wind up as a chef? During high school and college, I had any number of jobs that might be described as kitchen adjacent. Hot dog cart, dishwasher, appetizer guy, breakfast cook at a summer dance camp. I baked scones and shortbread cookies for a Scottish tea room. And at Hamilton, for 2 full years, I was the weekend steward at Chi Psi fraternity. I prepared all the meals for the brothers in exchange for my fraternity dues. I liked food, there's no question about that, and I liked to eat, but I most definitely did not anticipate a future as a chef. After a few years of teaching, I migrated to New York City, considering graduate school, and instead I found a job, totally random, as a private chef, making dinners each night for a busy family in exchange for a small room to live in. Pretty much the same deal as the fraternity when you think about it. I just moved to the city, and I used to wander the neighborhoods, walking everywhere, just to get a sense of what New York was about. At the time, like any good Hamilton student, I was reading The Sun Also Rises, probably for like the fourth or fifth time. In that story, people are always gathering at outdoor cafes, and I thought to myself, what would it be like to be one of those people? One evening, I was walking down 3rd Avenue, and I passed a restaurant called The Sign of the Dove, where there were tables spread out on the sidewalk, just like in the book. I didn't have the money to eat at a restaurant like that, but I figured maybe I could afford a dessert. And so I sat down, and the server suggested, try the creme brulee. I had no idea what that was. I had never had a creme brulee before. The server brought it out and set it down and said, take your spoon and just crack it across the top. It was like magic. The way a caramelized sugar crust breaks across the top of a cold custard, I was blown away. And right then, at that moment, I thought to myself, you know, I don't think I want to be a teacher. I think I want to be a pastry chef. And here's the thing, it wasn't really about the dessert. I'm sure it was delicious, but what got me was the whole experience. That's when it clicked. Eating is good, but creating a memory, that's awesome. A few months later, while hunting through the Times classified section for an actual paying job, I saw an advertisement for a restaurant bread baker. Now, I'll be honest, I had never baked a loaf of bread in my life, but I figured, what the heck? Shortbread, bread. I needed a job, and so I applied. On the way to the interview, I ducked into a shop on Madison Avenue, and I picked up a paperback copy of a book by James Beard, the pioneer of American cuisine, called Beard on Bread. I flipped through the pages while riding the subway, and I circled a few key terms, phrases like yeast and gluten. And drop those phrases I did, and the next thing you know, I was tying on an apron and baking bread in a New York City restaurant. That's the story, and the rest just followed organically. You build as you go. One position leads to another. Baking bread leads to baking cakes, and then you're making sauces and ice cream and creme brulee and working with chocolate. You meet people. You grow your network, your recipe book, your confidence. I read everything I could find, cookbooks, of course, 4 newspapers every Wednesday, which was the day that the food sections would come out. I staged at restaurants all over town to see what other chefs were doing. That means I worked for free. I never really had any money, so I hardly ever ate out. But it didn't really matter because I was almost always in a kitchen, which to me was even more interesting and better than being in the dining room. Just a few years in, I was invited to move across the country to Napa Valley, California, to be part of the opening day team at the French Laundry restaurant. I started off making salads and pasta, and I worked my way through every station in that kitchen, eventually took on the role of pastry chef, and just a couple of years after that, I was named the best pastry chef in America, bringing home an award named in honor of James Beard. It's tough to stand here today and to tell you to follow your dream if you're not even sure what your dream is. It took me a long time to realize that I had a genuine passion for cooking, and even then, I didn't always know best how to pursue it. I worked as a restaurant chef for years, but then I left that to teach at a culinary school, and now I work for a chocolate company. Those are 3 distinctly different careers, but they are all built on a love for creating and sharing something memorable. When you find what you love, you just got to go for it. Don't feel like you have to be an expert just to get started. You just have to take the first step. Dig in. Buy the book. Trust yourself to make the right call. Not long into my baking life in New York, a chef that I was working for sent me to an off-site event where I was asked to prepare a single item from one of Julia Child's book. I chose to make a bite-sized canapé called a gougère. Essentially, this is a salty, cheesy version of a cream puff, a gougère. I need to pause here and explain. Cream puffs are made from the most basic recipe in all of pastry. It's called pâte à choux. Water, butter, flour, and eggs. It's day 1 of pastry school material. And yet, from that single, humble base, you can make so many things. Cream puffs, of course, but also eclairs or profiteroles, a Paris Brest, a magnificent croquembouche. But if you take that same mixture and you add salt and pepper and some chopped herbs, and instead of baking it, you boil it in chicken broth, you get gnocchi. And if you take that same mixture and you pipe it into hot oil in a deep fryer, and then you dust it with cinnamon and sugar, you get churros or beignets. The same ingredients expressed in so many different ways, depending on what the situation calls for. I brought my gougères to that event in New York City, which turned out to be an 80th birthday party for Julia Child herself. She was there. And she came over to my station, and she popped one in her mouth and then another, and she said in that unmistakable voice, "Oh, gougères! Simple, elegant, delicious." Can you even imagine? Julia Child, JC, and those 3 words that any chef would tell you are about as great an award as you could ever wish for. And I share this story today because to me it represents the beauty of connectedness, of a liberal arts approach to the world. You didn't come to this college to study one thing, you studied everything. Philosophy, literature, music, science, history, art. It's your pâte à choux. From the versatility of that foundation, you can make almost anything. The specific shape that your life takes is entirely up to you. But the basic recipe is already there. That's the story arc, by the way. Hot dog cart, Hamilton, the French Laundry. So now comes the time when you need to share all of that preparation with the rest of the world. And in the restaurant business, we call that moment service. Not the dinner rush, not hours of operation, service. And I love that phrase because it puts everything into context. Your life and your work in the world is more than a shift. It's a commitment to the rest of your team and your community and to the people on the other side of the door. And I don't just mean in a restaurant. Service isn't a profession, it's a mindset. It's the way that you choose to stand in relation to the rest of the world, in whatever room you find yourself, whatever work you choose, whatever community you wind up in. And it's an incredibly special feeling because, and you have to believe me here, there is no greater gift in this world than to be put in the position to serve others. And I can say this with confidence because I get to live it every day. You set a table, you open your doors to the world, you get your hands dirty, and you get to work. I know you've heard it before, and in your heart you know it to be true, that it is more blessed to give than to receive. That would be the other JC. Today I'm going to leave you with a metaphorical taste of chocolate, the best food in the world, and one of the most diverse. All chocolate starts with cocoa beans, which come from origins all over the world. And they're all different depending on where they grow. Each one is unique. Each one is special in its own way. Each one contributes something profound to the finished product. To properly appreciate flavor, you can't simply have a little nibble. That won't reveal anything about character. But at the same time, you can't just gobble it down. You need to take a bite, take a real bite, and then wait and allow it to melt in your mouth. Allow it to soften until the full flavor comes to you. Be present enough and patient enough to let the thing that you're holding actually reveal itself. Any chef will tell you, you gotta taste everything as you go. And so now, friends, please go make and share something delicious. The world is hungry. Thank you.
In wie viel grauen Stunden, wo mich des Lebens wilder Kreis umstreckt, hast du mein Herz zu warmer Lebenshunden, hast mich in eine bessere Welt entrückt, in eine bessere Welt entrückt.
It's getting close to that time we've all been waiting for. Will the Hamilton College class of 2026 please rise? President Tepper, the Hamilton College faculty, a distinguished group of teachers, scholars, advisors, and mentors, attests that the individuals before us have fulfilled the requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts. I will now invite each member of the class to come forward to accept your congratulations on behalf of the college community and to receive their senior cane as a reminder of their Hamilton experience and as a token of the college's affection. Diplomas will be mailed to each graduating senior in the coming weeks. Please be seated. In addition to being Chief Academic Officer, I also moonlight as Celebration Police. Before we commence the proclamation of the names of each of our graduates, I wish to say a few words about commencement protocol. The college photographer will capture the moment each graduate crosses the stage and receives congratulations from the president, and these photographs will be available to our graduates and their families in several weeks. For that reason, we ask those present to remain in their seats. Second, please, if you are able, hold your applause and other expressions of joy and perhaps relief until the last student's name is called, so that each graduate's name can be heard by their families here and online and not drowned out by the cheers for the person who preceded them. Names will be read by members of the faculty. Students with the surnames beginning with A through K will process from one side. We will then change sides, beginning with the letters L. Ushers will direct graduates to the stage when it is time to receive their canes. And now, let us begin. Will the first row please stand?
Oluwayanmife Uriah Adeniran. Brianna Adrian. Julia Elizabeth Ashfar Kashmiri. Ava Alexander. Orhan Algar. Catherine Roseanne Allen. Renata Altuzar Barcenas. Arthur N. Anderson IV. Stephanie Ann Andrade Granados. Ileana Angel. Mia Laura Catherine Antonini. Angel C. Apollos. Catherine Sandra Appleman. Daria Yassar Arakan. Ramon Arroca Gonzalez. Nicholas Alexander Baraliaca. Alexander William Bandami. Ruby Bacall. Christopher Patrick Bannigan. Abigail Barron. Jack Charles Barton. Elizabeth Allison Baisley. Charles Boyd Curtis Beard. Ashley Lynn Beck. Sophia Louisa Berghammer. Cole R. Bernstein. Chakrit Bhattacharya. Atreus Abdish Bafsar. Grant Lee Blackburn. Dana L. Blatt. Ashlyn Laurel Blessy. Yeah. Sophie Estrelle Blomberg. Kendall Elizabeth Bocklet. Caroline Savannah Boys. Cade John Boyney. Annabelle Moss Boyd. James Nala Boyd II. Kyle C. Bratcher. Fiona Elizabeth Breen. Gabrielle Renee Bryn. Kathleen Birch Brocksmith. Meredith A. Brubaker. Joshua David Bucci. Max Adam Balaka. Lydia Grace Bullock. Caroline Regina Bird. Patrick Dominic Birdzicki. Aiden Patrick Burke. Miller Paul Burns. Aaron William Butler. Joseph Anthony Budarazi. Brendan John Byrne. Norma Areli Caejas. Senna Angelique Camp. Joseph Anthony Campanella. Aubrey Evan Campbell. Madison Lee Campbell. Carolyn Blake Kanata. Peter Robert Cantorino. Isabella Grace Cariosha. Catherine Kyoko Carlson. John Desmond Karen. Elizabeth Castlemere.
Lee Hasselbaum Castevens. Carlos Eduardo Castillo. Andrew Philip Taru Caslin. Lulu B. Chacon. Patricia Marta Cerda. Madeline Rose Cerrone. Daphne Izara Sorato. Ashley Rebecca Chafue. Alan Chen. Qlin Chen. Kyle Chesler. Ethan Shuwei Chin. Daniel Cho. Sonchan Cho. Cedric Sehun Xavier Choi. Braden Matthew Chomo. Parv Chaudhry. Xin Yuan Chu. Marin Kathleen Chardello. Marcy T. Cooney. Dechen Doma Cohen. Mia Isabel Cohen. Margaret Harris Condon. Olivia Grace Conhagen. Kate Elizabeth Connolly. June Cook Salmon. Claire Yasmin Cooper. Josephine Fletcher Cooper. Ethan James Corbin. Caroline Grace Cornelli. Rafael Coutinho Padua. Francis John Coyle. Sarah McGovern Creamer. John George Crespo Freire. Catherine Ann Cristiano. Grace Crowley. Angelique Marie Cuervas. Sakeda. Lucela Marie Delupin. Alexandre Giovanni Denis. Alex Davila Surita. Aaron M. Delaney. Margot Delaney. Jesse D. Delinsky. Caroline Etheridge Dietz. Peter Bradley Dillman. Jiachi Ding. Catherine Macaulay Donovan. Ari Ayana Dugal. Emma Cheston Dower. Anna K. Duarte. Ross Spencer Eagle. Jessica Elizabeth Ellie. Henry Alexander Elsesser.
Joseph Michael Fandry. Kobe Ross Feldman. Rebecca Jane Felker. Brunildo Samuel Fisher. Jasmine Lisbeth Florencio. Emma Alden Fulmer. Abigail Angus Foran. Emily Danielle Forsloff. Shay Elizabeth Fortier. Micaiah Camille Foster. Maggie Eliza Francis. Kaylee A. Frank. Elaine Anna Fraser. Eliana Gabrielle Friedman. Lila She Freeman. Maxwell Harrison Freistadt. Andre Friedman. Clara Ziying Fu. John Charles Letson Gaillard. Daniel Denny Gallet. Catherine Maureen Gallagher. Javier A. Garcia. Rylan Adair Garzinski. Alia Marie Gothney. Daniel Peter Gerard. Leo Gerst. Eliana Sydney Gibbs. Taryn Ann Gillis. Sienna Rose Gerard. Elana McCall Serrano Glassner. Anna Marie Knapp. Alexander Thomas Godwin. Daniel Goldberg. Sofia Isabel Gonzalez Alvarado. Caroline Leary Goodnow. Sophie Isabel Gordon. Aderin Jane Grace. Julia Francesca Granito. Amelia A. Greaves. Abigail Grace Griffin. Anna Elizabeth Gum. Neil Varun Gupta. Drea Angelina Hacker. Matthew Sean Hawka. Carson Samuel Hall. Isabel Victoria Holler. Felix Jackson Borders Halloran. Ivy J. Hammer Gumbrell. Faith Hahn. Luke Ellis Hansen. Madison Ryan Harland. Alize Haroun. Taylor Grace Harris. Tessa G. Hartzell. Bennett John Hauk. Ailish Eleanor Hayden. Thomas R. Healy. Emma K. Henderson. Juliana Violet Henderson. Lucas Tyler Milo Herman. Jack McNeil Harrell. Reese M. Hickey.
Patricia Jean Higgins. Samantha Jabor Higgins. Althea Sade Hill. John Nichols Hill. Peter Gardner Hinkle. Caroline Parkheiser Hoban. Morgan Elizabeth Hodorowski. Brooke Johnston Hoffman. Andrew Neil Homan. Victoria Holland Oliveira. Nicholas Michael Hollander Jr. Victoria Hallie Hollebeck Seebach. Dillard Alexander House. Darren Hua. Kian Forrest Hudeberg. Arian Sui Hurwitz. Chloe Sui Hurwitz. Bakir Huzremovich. Blossom Ibani. Eval and Iman Abasi Ifreke Imoke. Maria Ioanu. Nahaganda Diane Isimbi. Alinor Jaboldinov. Elizabeth Donnan Jacoby. Kate Sky Jamalkowski. Gael Itharo Javier. Meredith Johanning Jenny. Daniel Robert Jergal. Mitchell F. Johnson. Tatiana Alyssa Johnson. Abigail Jane Jones. Eugenia Crisula Kaltsas. Lamia Karabegovich. Mila Karamov. Taylor Alexander Kaufman. Arshdeep Kaur. Chloe Raven Kiefover. Harrison Robert Keller. Sasha Marie Keller. Colin Patrick Kelter. Bridget Fox Keogh. Benjamin John Kepler. John Highland Kircher. Josiah Imari Keys. Garrett Sebastian Edward Kihani. Mohammed Ismail Khan. Kathleen Elizabeth Kilcoyne. David Sungkun Kim. Elijah Galway Kingbond. Charlotte Haddon Kinlan. Christiana Marie Klein. Sydney Lee Klepper. Chloe Alexandra Nur. Jaden Candida Knowles. Nathaniel Z. Koplik. William Patrick Kretz. Jackson Danforth Kroc. Elise H. Kwan.
Elena Lee Legilia. Kiet C. Lamb. Taylor Allen Lambo. Yi Lan. Claire Rose Lazar. Madeline Hope Ledbury. Carter Lewis Lefkowitz. Madigan Jean Leifer. Lucy Brooks Liness. William Matthew Leonard. Carolyn Tyler Levin. Ricaldo Andre Lewis. Leonardo Lee. Mandy Lee. Tori Lieberman. Matthew Booth Lilly. Alexis Limon Aceves. Jalen Limon Ishewal. Sandor Lin. Isabella Maria Lindsay. Quenwen Liu. Oscar Yedo Osborne. Annalisa Maria Lona. Sarah Emerson Lowell. James Franklin Luce. Luo Tsurui. Riley M. Lyons. Serafina Lily Madden. Jared Ross Maidman. Emma Jane Malden. Caitlin Elizabeth Malecki. Joseph Nicholas Maloney. Eliana Manis. Vincent Manny. James Jerome Mannix III. Samuel Ari Marish. Amaris Annalisa Martins. Brooke Kilby Marks. Jessica Ella Mason. Madison Morgan Matthias. Jade Alexis Matthias. Dominic Gerald Moretti. Alexis Erin Mayer. Rebecca Ashley McAuliffe. Matthew J.P. McCormick. Evelyn C. McCreary. Catherine Teresa McDermott. Emily May McDonald. Ayana Kai McDonald. Ian Hamilton McGiffin. Caroline Stephanie McGraw. Ava Joelle McElwraith. Seraph Kelsa Jenny McKern. Carter Magali. Arjun Mehra. Ting May. Morgan Meisner. Christiana Colby Malucci. Lucy Jean Miola. Erin Alice Todd Morenich. Jordan Kong Merklin. James G. Merrill. Quentin Lenore Messer III. Natalie Michael. Nicholas Xavier Miller. Vivian Rose Miller. Samuel Jonah Mincer. Lydia F. Mirabito. Holly Elizabeth Morales.
Cameron John Miranda. Imani Selena Mitchell. Rishan Mitra. Nicole Moncada. Carlos Steve Moncada Soto. Ryan A. Moore. Ariana Malin Morales. Eric Takota Morita. Charlotte Bostick Molson. Jamie Taylor Monroe. Claire Murphy. Joshua Perrin Nadler. Oliver Arthur Crooker Nathaniels. Wesley Charles Neidhart. Robert Allen Niehart. Sharif A. Nelson. Nina Elise Newman. Hafwang T. Wetin. Magdalene Lorraine Nichols. Shambairong Nia. Jillian Lee Nord. James Houston Norman. Jack Dion O'Brien. Annie Maria Helena Oyanin. Ethan D. Olivo. Ian O'Reilly. Kip Ortega. Charlotte Rose Osgood. Zitshu Pan. Francis Robert Papetti. Jesse Parody Stern. Gregory Daniel Parishki. Grace Milai Park. Devanshi Mukesh Patel. Andrew M. Patterson. Delaney Margaret Patterson. Claire Danielle Patton. Natalie Niley Peng. Juan A. Perez Rodriguez. William Michael Peters. Grace Foster Peterson. David John Petz. Sydney Rachel Pickley. Cale Colin Piedmont Lang. Kevin Daniel Pillsbury. Leah Kate Pinels. Emily Marie Pogozelski. Jason Liu Porter. Alexandra Therese Powell. Iman Ashraf Rahman. Samantha Eve Rainero. Julia Lily Ramsey. Chingshan Ran. Muhammad Ahmed Rao. Nicholas Louis Philip Rayano. Ethan Ray Reed. Dantea Artrice Reedy. Kara Rose Regner. Zoe Ellen Regner. John M. Reese. Caitlin Bridget Reith. Jacqueline Vivian Renaga. Mili Reynoso. Samantha Barr Richards. Andrew Benjamin Richardson. Eleanor Jane Roberts. Emerson Robinson. Danielle Felipe Rodriguez Vergara.
Hadley Quinn Rogers. Alana Fitzgerald Rose. Faye Elizabeth Roselle. Gabrielle Rozowski. Kathleen Ann Rotnell Easer. Ainsley May Ruth. Olivia H. Rabano. Henry Thomas Ruby. Emma Maria Ruscio. Frank Jesus Ruiz Jr. Thomas Wright Rushing. David Earl Russell Jr. Benjamin Paul Ryan. Peter Martin Ryan. Katerina Elaine Sabella. Maya Lane Samet. Shay Sanjis. Sophia Grace Santana. Juliet Santos. Melissa Rose Scala. Esther Lee Shriver. Ariel Malia Schultz. Samantha Ray Schwab. Dana Morgan Schwartz. Zachary Ethan Schwartz. Catherine Gloria Scabelli. Ian Christopher Salert. Eric William Seeley. Jason Sayo. Fletcher Lemon Shaw. Allison Jane Sheehan. Thomas J. Sheft. Ariel Scher. Evelina Grace Sheridan. Kaljang Sherpa. Richard Lee Shi. Catherine Louise Showalter. Jacob Israel Schulman. Peyton Putnam Sickle. Eli Chase Silverman. Joseph Michael Simeon. Bo Anthony Sinardo. Philip Slavchev. Ashila Carmen Sloan. Joshua B. Smith. Kenna Redmond Smith. Phoebe Eleanor Smith. Eric Andrew Soderberg, Jr. Alejandro Sosa Hernandez. Kavisha Yamali Soisa. Eduardo Jung Spadicini. Megan G. Spence. Lily Butler Spencer. Aaron C. Steensma. Erica Lee Stevens. Catherine Lucy Stevens. Mina Kishi Stevens. Kenesha Stills. Ella Lynn Strasser. Margaret Wood Stroop. Brooke Elizabeth Steyer. Cora May Sullivan. Margaret Joan Sullivan. Tobias Blanchard Surratt. Aaron Sweeney.
Hideyuki Takagi. Thomas John Takis. Michael Nicholas Talarida. Sophia Isabella Testa. Madeline Christina Tolliver. Maisley L. Tone. Neve McNamara Tana. Room James Torres Egan. Sophia Isabel Tassani. Jonathan Tumate. Ling Trang. Claire Traknick. Ian Foster Traffic. Lily Taylor Trishon. Hannah Elizabeth Turner. Suchanaya Udumpan. Quentin Otterbeck. Judith Timia Vagot. Jesus Baje. Mimosa Hermie Van. Catherine Mills Vanderbilt. Sebastian Robert von Wanroy. Osmel Vasquez. William Eddie Velez. Paula Gabriela Vitado Garcia. Sarah Elizabeth Walcott. Aubrey Ann Wallen. Hannah Jillian Walpole. Cole Waslu. Lily Emma Watts. Griffin Charles Whitener. Casey Lynn Weisberg. Brielle Lynn Whalen. Benjamin Louis White. Lindsay White. Sarah Elizabeth White. Henry Charles Wiemeyer. Grace Elizabeth Wild. Hughes Hamilton Williams. Michaela Amoy Williams. Margaret Barron Winstead. Gregoire Winston. Micah Winshegret. Alexa Renee Wolfson. Jacqueline Agnes Wong. Holland Abigail Livia Wathouse. Maria Elizabeth Risley. Yuxuan Xu. Tyron Prohansa Shu. Jiayu Xun. Rose Yang. Natalie Sky Yano. Zachary Yasinov. Jessica W. E. Mina Marjorie Yoshorifi. John A. Yan. Hopper Kenneth Youngwood. Catherine Zhang. Benjamin Zhao. Christopher Zhou. Yifan Zhou. Benjamin Boyce Zimmerman. Allison Lynn Zorn. Rachel Zhou. Lorenzo Battaglia.
Someone dropped their cane, so we're going to run that back. Will our graduates please rise? Members of the class of 2026, you have completed all of the requirements for a Hamilton College degree, although by no means has your education ended. Acting on the authority delegated to me by the Board of Regents of the State of New York and the trustees of Hamilton College, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. At this college, named for statesman Alexander Hamilton, where free expression thrives, where hard questions are asked, where democracy is not only studied but strengthened, you have prepared yourself to listen, to think critically, to engage across difference, to ask the generous question, and to become active citizens. So go forth now, class of 2026. Make the world a better place. I know you will. You'll make us proud. I hope you'll come back often. Onward. Woo!
If you are able, please rise and join us in singing Carissima, the words to which are printed in your program. Everyone is invited to the picnic and the tent on the Dunham Green after the ceremony. There is also seating in commons, but it is not handicap accessible, so if you have a robust party, you might decide to go in there. Please remain in your places until after the procession has left the auditorium. This assembly is adjourned.